Presidential Plane has one of the best backstories of all R6 maps. This map is based off of a tragedy, but it is still one of the most interesting stories I've ever researched. Presidential Plane is a map that many people do not know the full backstory of. So what is it? Well, it is based off of Air France Flight 8969. This event started on a seemingly normal Christmas Eve in 1994. Many people were on flights for the holidays, and one of those flights was Air France Flight 8969 from Algeria to France. While before I said that this date was not important, it actually was. During this time, Algeria was in the middle of a raging civil war. There were countless figures on both sides with extreme viewpoints against the other. So these conditions were less than optimal. However, so far there had been no aviation problems, therefore flights went as normal. This Air France flight was scheduled to depart at 11:15 a.m., but during boarding, 4 men dressed as police entered the plane and began to check passports and monitor activities done by the staff. The first sign of something unusual was that one of the police had dynamite showing through his jacket. This caused a delay, which the Algerian military noticed. They quickly surrounded the plane with troops and blocked the runway with vehicles. The hijackers became enraged and revealed who they were, and that they had very sinister plans for this flight. After this, they incapacitated 2 passengers and lined the aircraft with explosives. The French military immediately wanted to intervene, given that almost a third of the passengers were French, but Algeria resisted. They did not want the French military on their soil. And so the flight stayed on the ground for hours. The hijackers told the pilots to take off, but they were unable because of the military blocking any way out. Finally, at around 9:30 p.m. the next day, or 34 hours after scheduled departure, the hijackers stated that for every 30 minutes that they did not take off, 1 more passenger would be incapacitated. With this, the flight finally took off 39 hours after the start of the hijacking. Since the plane had been running for all that time, there was not enough fuel to make it to Paris, which is where the hijackers wanted to go. So the flight landed at 3:33 a.m. at a small airport south of Paris. The aircraft taxied to an unused corner of the airport away from the main terminal. With the knowledge of the explosives on board and the hijackers' requests for enormous amounts of fuel, French authorities knew that the hijackers most likely wanted to use the excess fuel as more explosives. So the decision was made to not let the aircraft leave the airport at any cost. The GIGN stationed microphones on the aircraft, and so they knew everything happening on board. Also, GIGN snipers were put all around the plane with their sights set on the cockpit. The hijackers knew that their time was coming to an end, and they selected a 4th passenger to kill, but then ended up sparing them. The hijackers opened the door and fired machine guns at the ATC tower and surrounding buildings. The GIGN then moved the boarding stairs to the plane and started the raid. They stormed the aircraft from both ends and immediately incapacitated 1 hijacker. In what flight attendants described as the apocalypse, grenades were detonated, shots were fired, and people were panicking. In the next minutes, many of the passengers escaped, and 3 of the 4 hijackers were incapacitated. The threat was now gone thanks to the GIGN and the fearless crew of the aircraft. In the end, a total of 7 lives were lost between 3 passengers and 4 hijackers. However, it is unimaginable to think how much more the death count would have been if the hijackers had executed their plans.